Hello, and welcome to Should I Play This? Today I'm going to take a look at King's Bounty Armored Princess. King's Bounty originally was a computer game that was released in 1990. It's a really old game. And King's Bounty The Legend is the first game of the ones that were created in modern times by the same developer. And King's Bounty Armored Princess is the sequel. There's also King's Bounty Warriors of the North and King's Bounty The Darkside. And all four games are made in the same engine and look the same and play the same. I think King's Bounty Armored Princess is the best game. There's an expansion pack for this game called Crossworlds. So you might as well get Crossworlds, which is pretty much just a better Armored Princess. So that would be the best game to get, I think. King's Bounty Crossworlds. So let's get into the game here. This is the introduction.
Throughout the past decade, peace has reigned in the world of Endoria. A treaty was signed between the humans, elves, and orcs, and a union of equals led by Mark Leonard the Wise brought to peaceful resolution all conflict across the land. The valiant knight, Bill Gilbert, having set Endoria on its happy course, became mentor to the young Princess Emily, training her in the military arts. And as time passed, the princess grew into a fine young woman, and Sir Gilbert was called to leave the peaceful shores of Endoria in search of new worlds. But peace is always fragile. The fearsome archdemon Baal, once banished into the abyss by our famous knight, had meanwhile been undergoing his trials at the gates of hell. His form finally regained, Baal opened a portal into the world of Endoria, and within an instant, countless hordes of demons came pouring through, destroying all that was in their path. The elves and dwarves were the first to fall, having but little defense against such an overwhelming force. The loyal troops of King Mark were likewise quickly exhausted, and the battle-weary survivors withdrew to Kronberg to mount a last desperate stand at the gates of the capital. In a few short but terrible hours, catastrophe had brought Endoria to the very brink of annihilation.
So as you can see, this picks off, Armored Princess picks off where King's Bounty The Legend left off, but it's not necessary to have played King's Bounty The Legend to play Armored Princess. And Armored Princess is a better game, so I think you might as well just start there. You can't select any other characters than the princess, but you can select a class. You can choose between warrior, paladin, and mage. And the game includes a lot of artifacts that modifies your attributes. There's a lot of spells and scrolls, and a lot of unit types and different races of units that you can pick up during your adventures. There's a lot of variety, and the graphics, even though the game is from 2009 and 2010 for Crossworlds, is still good looking. It looks nice in the high resolution, and it still works, which is why they used the same engine to release Darkside, which came out last year, I think. So they used the same engine and the same gameplay and everything. Did very little innovation with both Warriors of the North and the Darkside. So Crossworlds is still in my mind the best game, and I highly recommend it because it's in its own right. It's a really good game if you like this kind of role-playing game where you move around on the map with your army and fight other armies on a tactical battle screen. I will get to see the tactical battle screen in a bit because I'll run through the tutorial in this gameplay video. There's a lot of text and no voiceovers, voice acting in this game. So you'll have to read a lot of text for the quests and for the story. which can make it a fairly slow paced. But again, if you don't like slow paced, this game is probably not for you, because also the battles are fairly slow paced. You have to move one unit at a time, turn based on a small grid. I just finished up speaking to this mage, and he'll send me on my way to the new adventure. So this is the landscape you'll spend most of your time looking at. This is where you move around to explore and find artifacts and quests and troop types that you can pick up. So the overland map is not strategically important in the same way. So here's the tutorial. When you move around the overland map, you can press D to dig, and then you can find treasure. I'm equipping my shield that I just found. Yeah, I'll find a sword. So there are not many great alternatives to the King's Bounty series for this kind of gameplay, and that's okay, because this game is really good, and if you enjoy this type of game, you'll probably have many hours, maybe 30, 40 hours in this game, because the campaign is really long. And if you can't get enough, you can also get Warriors of the North and Darkside, which is more of the same, slightly changed mechanics. Mostly just gimmicks. In Warriors of the North you have Valkyries instead of a pet dragon, and in Darkside you can choose between being a vampire and orc, and well, being on the dark side of things. But it's still the same engine and still the same kind of gameplay. So here we go into the first battle of the tutorial. You get an idea of how the battles look. This is where you'll spend a lot of your time playing in this game. As you can see, it's a very small grid. There's not a lot of space between you and the enemy. And then it's turn-based and based on the initiative, who goes first and so forth. You see a little pet dragon there by the tree. And some of the unit types will have different special attacks, and can do different stuff, like resurrect other units or heal them or cast spells, and all these kind of interesting things to mix up the gameplay a bit and the tactic. So again, I highly recommend this if this kind of gameplay is your thing. I think it's probably the best game for this type of game that you can take up right now. So if you haven't played it already, go ahead and get it. You can get it on Steam or GOG and many other places. It's not that expensive because it's from 2010 if you get the Crossworlds, which is the edition I think you should get. Armour Princess is expanded in Crossworlds, and it's basically the same game, just better. So thanks for watching, and I'll play through the tutorial and a little bit on the overland map so you can find out more about the game. I'll catch you guys later.